Hey guys, how you doing? So I have proof that AI will not be replacing developers anytime soon. Well, juniors they're effed. No, just kidding. Juniors doing the old stuff are effed. Just got to do the new stuff, as I talked in other videos. That's another video. So I have proof that AI is not replacing developers anytime soon because AI does not think. They're pattern recognition machines, which are very powerful and useful. So I say use AI. I'm a big proponent of it. But to think that you're gonna set an AI off and they're gonna go la-di-da and you can trust them, they're gonna be able to do everything, that's not true. You know, what I'm asking questions about camera lenses, which are pretty simple, and they will make all kinds of mistakes. This video is sponsored by Savala. Savala is a platform as a service, a modern hosting platform with transparent pricing. You know what you get, no hidden fees. You pay only for what you use, no surprise bills or limits. Seamlessly deploy and host your apps, databases, and static sites with cloud-native performance with the ease you love from Heroku without its aging tech or high cost. Enjoy unlimited collaborators, unlimited parallel builds, and no fixed plans. Leverage Google Kubernetes engine across 25 regions, plus Cloudflare for best-in-class reliability and speed. Native support for trunk-based and Git flow workflows means your team deploys just like Heroku. Preview your changes instantly with preview apps and static sites, and launch in one click with ready-built templates. Get started free with a $50 credit, link below. How do I approve that AI are not going to be replacing developers anytime soon? Is because you see that the AI models and the AI technology in of itself is somewhat fragile. So a couple examples. So I was just watching, I don't know if it was a video or read an article, I've consumed so much. Anyway, there's a piece out there and they're talking about how it takes very little bad data to basically spike a model to mess it up, like less than 1%. So when you're training a model, you have this big bunch of data that they use. If 1% of the pool of that data is no good, it could ruin everything. So it doesn't take much to F it up. So that's proof number one. This is all based on the studies. Proof number two, you see it with the slow incremental progress in AI, and you see that the core capabilities of the reasoning models are not great. They're not getting better, as far as I can tell. It's so incremental and small. And you see that where, in fact, you see some backpedaling. For example, when they went from GPT-4 to 5, I had trained a custom GPT on 4. And it took me like 3.5 months to get it going pretty well. And it was just a fitness app thing. And it was good. It worked on, anyway, I won't get into details. But point is, it's 3.5 months, a relatively simple implementation, something I could not do without AI. So cool. So I take 3.5 months, I train this thing, GPT on 4, 5 comes out, GPT-5 comes out, and next thing you know, it doesn't work, it breaks. So I went from GPT-4 to 5, 5 breaks what worked in 4. So what does that tell you? The model development is not a perfect process, right? If it was a perfect process that was well understood, my custom GPT would not have been broken by the release of the 5.0 release, right? Doesn't make any sense. But that tells you something about the brittleness of these models. And it goes back to something I read years ago in a book from a top AI researcher. So he was talking about how when they're training models, it's as much about science as it is about intuition, black magic. That tells you that the process is imperfect. So it's kind of fragile. You just got to get it right so it doesn't F up. So sometimes, here's a third proof that's related to all this. So a friend of mine and other people I know, they have custom AI implementation. So sometimes they'll use this model to pass it off to this model. So it's like a model stacking. So sometimes GPT-3 is better, then they go to 4, then they go back to 3, and then they go to 5. etc. They'll jump over to Anthropic, and then they'll go Gemini. So what you find is that even within the same company stack of models, if you will, the same vertical models, they're not all, some version 3 may be better at certain things than 4 and so on and 5. And so it's a very imperfect process. So so all these 3 points tells us that model generation by the AI businesses, it's an imperfect, imprecise process, fragile. If it's trained in a very small percentage of bad data, it could skew the whole thing. So we've seen since the release a few years ago that we've only seen very incremental progress. Now they have these testing. They have these tests that they measure the effectiveness of the model, right? These standardized tests, and they have scores, and you see how the scores are gradually getting higher. But Apple put out a study, was it 6 months ago, a year ago, I forget now, where they created a bunch of other tests that were similar in nature and in level and in complexity to the standardized test. And then when they put the models on these new tests, basically problems they could not pre-train on, problems they could not see the answers to, like know the answers to a test, the models failed miserably, not 20% words, like total garbage. So that tells you is that the models have no logical capacity. They're just giant associative arrays. So when you're developing complex software, there's a lot of decision making. There's a lot of logical processes that have to be considered when you're building a piece of software. You can't, it's not just associate. Big part of it is association, but no. So that's why these are solid proof to show you that AI is not replacing software developers anytime soon. It's another layer of abstraction. It is speeding up the game. AI is very good for very finite, very highly specialized tasks that you limit it to. You do that, it could save you a ton of time, but you always have to verify. That's why AI developers are still going to need to know the foundations of the coding. My principles of software development, what I've been teaching and mentoring people in for years now, still have stood the test of time. You have to know your foundations. You have to understand the basic constructs of the language. You have to understand the environments in which the languages and the frameworks operate in. So for example, in the web stack, you got to understand the web stack, client versus server, client-side rendering, client-side code versus server-side code, security implications of each, different types of databases, the latency in web-based apps, right? The stateless nature of the web, all these and much, much more. These are all principles and these are all principles that you have to understand as a developer. Sometimes it makes sense to use JavaScript. Sometimes it makes sense to use PHP, sometimes Java, never Ruby. And these are judgment calls. Developers at the end of the day are problem solvers. They see a problem. They see some complexity that has to be automated or managed. So good developers, proper developers are able to look at that, break down the problem to smaller components, and then decide which technologies, whether it be a programming language, a library, an LLM, a low-code tool, a no-code tool. A developer has to figure out what it is that needs to be implemented, what technology stacks that need to be implemented to solve this particular problem. Every problem is different. One size does not fit all in the software development space. All right, I'm Uncle Steph. If you don't know me, I've been a developer for 3 decades now. Unbelievable. And I cut my teeth on the webs and JavaScript and Java and PHP and 9 languages over the years. So everything I teach is based on my decades of experience. I have a mentoring program where I mentor people to become professional developers super quickly, but I teach you to think like a very advanced developer. So when you hit the ground running, when you get into the game, you hit the ground running. You will think like a developer with decades of experience as opposed to a noob. Anyway, there you go. If you disagree with anything I say, please post in the comments below. If you like this comment, give me a thumb, share it, like, comment, that kind of stuff. Cheers.